Via Dolorosa by Victor Yap and Doris Mock, Chapter 5, No Better Sacrifice, John chapter 10, verses 11 to 18. A website asked this question: what have you sacrificed for love? Some of the answers include: I sacrificed my autonomy, because when you love someone, all the things that you do when you are single and is still not committed to someone will be compromised or be left behind, like hanging out with friends, playing computer games, and all the stuff that will demand time. Money, friends, going places I loved to go, self-esteem. Self-love. Everything. I ceased to care about myself but to care about the person I love. I didn't make any sacrifice, but my parents did. They sacrificed all their time, happiness, and hard-earned money for me and my sister. The verb sacrifice means to surrender or give up something for the sake of something else. It is derived from the adjective sacred. So a sacrifice is an offering consecrated to God lovingly, not lightly. What kind of sacrifice did Jesus make on the cross? Did he obtain material or physical benefits in return? Who was the sacrifice for? Why did Jesus offer a sacrifice at the cost of his own life? First, be acquainted with the shepherd. John chapter 10, verses 11 to 13. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. More than 200 sheep have plunged to their deaths in the Pyrenees while apparently trying to escape a brown bear. The bears have been reintroduced to the mountain region over the past 3 decades after being wiped out by hunters. The sheep, which belonged to a farmer in Coufflens, southwest France, are thought to have taken fright when the bear appeared in the area last Sunday. After the predator attacked one of the sheep, 209 others in the flock panicked and hurled themselves off a 200-meter-high cliff on the border between France and Spain. The bodies of 169 sheep were found the next day at the foot of the cliff in the Spanish village of Lador. The other dead animals were found in France. Jesus is not just a shepherd, but a good shepherd. Not just a good shepherd, he is the good shepherd, the only divine, dutiful, and dependable shepherd of our souls. In his discourse, Jesus freely used the adjective good to portray its superior, surpassing, and stirring quality, nature, and benefit, including good fruit, Matthew 3:10, good works, Matthew 5:16, the good ground, Matthew 13:23, the good seed, Matthew 13:37, a good tree, Luke 6:43, and a good heart, Luke 8:15, but only the good shepherd comes with article the and never a. Good can also mean morally honorable, noble, and admirable, but in the comparative sense it not only means outstanding but outlasting and overcoming. The Greek language has no better or best other than good. Good is a quality for excellence and eminence, and with no equal or exaggeration. A shepherd is not defined by the art or skill he hones, but the animals or sheep he herds. The good shepherd places his life for the sheep. All versions except for King James Version use lays down, tithemi, instead of King James Version's give. It means to sacrifice or place at risk, surrender, or place his life, substitute, or take the place. The good shepherd is contrasted with the hired hand or hireling. The noun hired, misthos, is from the word hire, misthos, for payment, compensation, reward, wages. The hireling is differentiated by three verbs: see, abandons or leaves, and runs away or flees. And the wolf does two things: attacks and scatters. See is the wolf, leaves is the sheep, and flees is from the predator, prey, and place. Leave is depart, but flee is disappear. The first is to be out of danger, and the second is to be out of sight. The wolf, on the other hand, attacks or catch and scatters. The verb catch is translated as take by force, Matthew 11:12, spoil, Matthew 12:29, pluck, John 10:28, and pull, Jude 23. It means to snatch and seize. The second verb scatters, scorpizo, or disperse, 2 Corinthians 9:9, is derived from an insect noun, scorpios, or scorpion. So the wolf not just disperses, but destroys, devours, and decimates the flock. The further indictment on the hireling is that he does not care, verse 13, for the sheep, but for the salary. Care means interest, involvement, and investment. The hireling has no relationship with the sheep, ownership of the flock, or proprietorship in the animals. Second, be added to the saved. John 10:14-16. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must bring them also. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. One of the most determined and defiant rescue operations I read is that of a 14-year-old terrier named Rascal that was dropped off at the Nanaimo SPCA on Vancouver Island. The little dog appeared to be covered in dirt, but on closer look at the veterinarians realized that the dirt was actually masses of tiny fleas. The clinic's staff said they were shocked when they rinsed Rascal and witnessed copper-colored water dripping from the dog's fur. The Nanaimo SPCA gave the island veterinarian hospital a choice. They could either euthanize the infested dog or give it an emergency blood transfusion. The clinic staff chose the latter option. One of the hospital's employees owned a German Shepherd named Katie that was a universal blood donor. The dog was immediately brought to the clinic to provide blood for Rascal in a procedure that lasted 4 hours. After receiving 400 milliliters of blood and countless baths, little Rascal finally regained its strength and was deemed flea-free and is expected to make a full recovery. The veterinarian, Ken Langelier, said, "It was the most fleas I've seen, and I have been in practice for almost 40 years. When the fleas drink the blood and they go to the bathroom, they're basically excreting digested blood. Basically, you are seeing a sea of blood. But I looked at this dog and said, 'You are not dying on my watch, baby.'" The phrase "I know," ginosko, occurs merely 8 times in the Bible, out of which half is in the Gospels, and 3 of those 4 times in the Gospels are in John 10, including verses 14, 15, and 17. Verse 14, "I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep, and am known of mine." Verse 15, "As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep." Verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." The verb know occurs 223 times in the New Testament, out of which 56 times are in John, which means more than 1 in 4 of its occurrences are in the Gospel of John. All its 8 occurrences of I know are in the present tense as an existing, energetic, and engaging relationship, not an external, ebbing, or ended relationship. It is a direct and dynamic relationship, not a dull or digressing relationship, with no preposition about or of in between, such as I know the sheep, I know the Father, and I know them, not I know about the sheep, I know of the Father, and I know concerning them. The last line, am known of them, implies a reciprocating, reliant, and receptive relationship. The relationship of the shepherd and the sheep is an intimate, involved, and invested relationship, and not an indirect, impersonal, and indifferent relationship. It is one of awareness, affection, and assurance. The Father's devotion to and delight in the Son. The other sheep could refer to Samaritans, God-fearers, converts to Jewish religion, Gentiles, lost sheep, black sheep, and bad sheep. No race, rank, or reputation. Fold refers to believing in one Father, being of one flock, and belonging to one family. Lead is the pastoral role. It means path, provision, and peace. Third, be assured of the safeguarding. John 10:17-18. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. Vertical dimension, victorious deliverance, voluntary death. Passion, planned purpose, power. Motivation, means, mobilization. The motivation of the Good Shepherd is love for the sheep, love that is unconditional, undeserving, and unending, to sheep that is unheeding, unsettled, and unknowing. The love of the Father, however, is love that is unequaled, unending, and unselfish, because it is shared to the world and salvation to the world, the righteous for the unrighteous, the sacred for the selfish, and the divine for the depraved. Jesus' means to achieve his purpose was in the resurrection. It was a sacrifice that turned and transformed grief to glory, violence to vindication, ruin to reversal, death to deliverance, and hate to honor. Finally, Jesus' death was victorious, vicarious, and voluntary, unforced, unapproached, and unblemished. The shepherd died a willing death, not a wrongful death, readily and not recklessly, intentionally and not irresponsibly. There is no other mediator, brainchild, not brokered or blindsided, approached, an authority administrator not asked or afterthought. Conclusion. Jesus' death on the cross was a sacred, perfect, and loving and victorious sacrifice. Do you know our great and glorious Shepherd? In him you will find goodness, gentleness, and guidance. He is our Creator, our Commander, and companion in life, who will never leave us or lose us, no matter if we stray, struggle, or stumble. Do you recognize Christ as the shepherd of your life? Will you receive him as the Savior and Sovereign of your life? Lent questions. Good Shepherd. May the Lord help us not to stumble any more, that we may be his sheep and listen to the shepherd and his guidance. God is our shepherd. He leads us onto the right path. He directs us to green grass and water. We can enter into his rest. We have to listen to the voice of the Lord and be with him. We gain his love and protection. The Lord loves his sheep, and we are not willing to be lost sheep. The Lord is our master. He walks in front, guides us, leads our lives, and prepares everything for us. God is willing to do the same thing in our lives today. He has prepared everything, but we must follow him closely and believe in him, unafraid in all things, because the Lord will lead us to victory.